Well, we're back at the Hummel problem again, or project, I mean, and I've not really made a whole lot of progress recently. I've been doing the kids thing for a little bit, managing the kids. So this is the rotax 447 that came with the airframe. I've been digging into it. I definitely got myself into a project that I didn't think I was going to be in on this particular part, but the engine was seized when I bought the airframe, knowing that I probably wasn't going to use it just because of the, four-stroke is more reliable. But the airframe will end up over its specified weight with all of the adjustments I'll end up making, with probably a difference in rivets, slightly larger because I'll have to punch some out and use the same holes, so I'm not weakening too many panels. You know, as one does. I've found some little things that I can do for weight to make it all lighter, starting with redoing the engine mount, redoing the cooling. We're not going to do forced air off the back of the engine. I'm not entirely sure who thought this was a great idea. Forcing air forwards on an airplane, or backwards on an airplane that's traveling forwards. So we're going to free air this thing. We'll build a little duct. Currently, I'm actually sort of tempted to flip the motor upside down and flip the gearbox the other way and try to get the prop output height the same height as it would be on a half VW. See if I can get the center of thrust at the same height, because with it the way that it was, the prop drive was probably 8 inches higher than what the plans would have specified for a half VW. So I might play around with that idea, seeing as I'm not going to need the fan and I won't need hardly any of the other junk off the back. I'll just set it up so I can have I might not even run a recoil. I might just hand prop the thing. I've seen enough people do it with healthy 447s on the interwebs that hand propping it, I guess I'm not afraid of. So I'll end up making a ram air shroud to capture air anyways, and having that under that edge, right? So I could build all of that right up in here. So just below the edge, and then put a normal cowl and put a normal top cover and everything on it, so it looks more correct. That'll flip the exhaust out the other side, which I have the straightish longy thing for an exhaust, which I guess I'm not opposed to tweaking it just a little bit. Obviously taking into account length and all that dumb stuff for resonance and all that. But if I was to make that out this side instead of the other side and go under the wing and point down from under the wing, I think that would work out pretty well, because I would not have any exhaust gases going up into the cabin. I've been talking to a metalwork friend of mine, a bodywork guy, about getting some tools and some skills for making all these little dents and dings and getting this little dent in the bottom sorted out, getting them squared and straight and smooth, so the structure is less compromised. I'm not going to say uncompromised, but less compromised. Same with all the little nicks and dings and dents and little things everywhere, so straighten up as much of those as possible. And I'm aware there's going to be some stretching whenever body hammers and whatnot are involved, so I'll have to take into account each panel, each adjustment, and see if I'm willing to risk, having either a minor bubble or an unfixable bubble in that spot, because it'll make it all slightly longer in each, all directions. So I didn't really do anything for interior stuff recently. I didn't change anything. I haven't even vacuumed it out yet, but I sent off the cylinders to get dingleberry honed, check the condition of those. Found some rings that will likely work. No, I probably won't be trusting my life to this, but I do want to put it in and at least taxi this thing a whole bunch and see, the structural integrity, see if it'll take some, bounce around on the field at very, very least, and get some brakes and stuff sorted out, get a tail wheel sorted out. I haven't even put a parts list together for that either. I've been doing the kid thing a lot, actually. So, and working, of course. But I was kind of curious how light I could make this thing, so I've entertained the idea of titanium hardware, no recoil, no air ducting other than the ram air scoop, and then cross drilling a bunch of the fins so I can up the surface area just a little bit. Yeah, I know Rotax did their R&D, but I would be willing to bet that I can get a little bit more surface area, whether that's grooving or whether that's drilling, to alleviate some heat. I have not completely settled on an idea for a prop yet. I looked at E-props. They've got a 3-blade that would be pretty close. Um, they've also got a 2-blade, which I've seen, but I don't think I have the ground clearance for the 2-blade, so it's going to have to be a 3-blade, 130 centimeters, which is like, I don't know, terrible high school math at like 152 inches or something like that. But then, yeah, there's a different company that was making a prop I was looking at too, but I haven't quite decided which one to go with yet. One was like $400, the other one was like $600. So far, airplane parts aren't scaring me all that much, though I haven't had to buy a new one of these. Those seem to go for a lot of money. Thumper Air is like 5 or 6 grand. A VW motor is 4,700. Well, 5 grand when it's all said and done, and a 3VL is 10 grand. And these things rebuilt used go for like $3,800. So I guess those numbers are getting a little annoying, but they're not too bad yet. As for XS Garage, I think it was, he made a notation that it's a little bit rough for an airframe, and yeah, yep, it's worse than I thought. But for the 6.5 hour drive to go look at it, I guess I wasn't willing to not come home with it. And on this one, if I screw it all up, assuming I live, it was cheap to screw it up. If I bought a kit and I messed it up, I'd be out, $21,000 for a kit, which for some sheet metal seems a little crazy, but it does seem to be specialized sheet metal, and I guess their time for laser cutting and all that adds up. But yeah, that's where she's at right now. I got a few other things to address. I was going to pull the elevator off, the elevator and the rudder, and take a look at the superstructure underneath. Take a look at the actual fuselage tail section. Make sure that didn't get bent or tweaked in any way. That part looks okay. I think I may be able to salvage all the stuff minus the actual elevator, and of course making a couple other parts that are missing. But yeah. Anyways, thanks to XS Garage for giving me a hand with some questions on a gearbox. I got to do a new gasket for that. Whether I laser cut one or whether I buy one, it's still up in the air. But thank you for the source on where I could get one, and thanks to Dennis Brooks for answering some questions along the way. I'll be continuing this just so commenters don't get too worried. I spent 10 years in the power sports industry doing this with my eyes closed, so I'm not too worried about this part. I could do this without question in any way in a professional sense, and it would be just fine. So I'm not too worried about the engine, whether that's tuning, whether that's rebuilding, whether that's, all that good jazz. But the airframe part, I don't have a whole lot of experience in. Though I can make any piece I need for it. I have the metalwork skills to do it, and yeah, I think I've got the imagination for it too, so we will see how well it goes. But thanks for watching. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll get you back when I got some more progress.